just read the word of YAHAWAH Shem Yahushai. Before I get started with that, turn towards the east and give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Say yet again, Shalom to the elect of the nation Israel, who we endure all things for. Shalom to all the Akim wa Akwathim, who believe in Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Until the bitter end, I say yet again, Shalom. So it's been in my spirit for the past couple of days, whatnot, just thinking about the words of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, our God, the God of Israel. And once you get straight into the scriptures, read the words of the Lord himself, what he has said, what he has promised to the elect of the nation of Israel, we have nothing to worry about. When you read these words, he promises everything that's good for the elect of the nation of Israel. And of course, for the rest of the nation of Israel who are to be saved at some point in the near future. But first, the elect have to get sealed. They're the ones that have to get saved first. And then the rest of our nation is going to be follow suit with that salvation. But we have to read the word of the Lord so that it can rejuvenate us. It can bring us back to life. Because as long as we're in this captivity, all we got is a bunch of reprobates, people thinking that we're just, we're just reading out of our own heads or whatever. Just saying just stupid shit, man. But when you read the word of the Lord, knowing who you are, knowing who your God is, you're always going to be rejuvenated. You're always going to be filled with life. The average person that's running in Babylon the Great, they don't have real life. They don't know what life is. They don't know what it feels like to be quickened up by the Spirit. And I'm going to get this and start out in the book of Psalms, chapter 12 and verse 6. The words of Yahweh are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. You hear that? The words of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai are super pure. You know what? Let me get the blue letter for that. I was going into it the other day, and I believe it's the word Hathor. But you know what? Let's look into it one more time. I believe it's Hathor. The word pure. It's Tahor. And Tahor in this context, it means pure, clean ceremonially of animals, pure physically, pure, clean, morally, ethically. Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai has said that his word is clean, it's pure, and it has no guile in it. So because of that, you must read it. You have to read it so you can bring yourself back to life. Because there's going to be times when you're in the flesh and you're going to feel like the whole world is just cramming down on you. Then you start reading the words of the Lord himself, and then things just brighten up. Things start to feel good once again because you're reading the words of the Creator of everything we see, seen and unseen, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. And that's why, let me read it again. That's why I encourage us, all of us, to continue to read a lot. And I'm first and foremost with myself. Psalms chapter 12 and verse 6. The words of Yahweh are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. It's so pure, it's so elegant, it's so majestic. I guess that's the perfect word to say it. The words of the Lord. His words are ethereal. It's literally perfect. It's there's no errors in Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai and what he has said as it pertains to righteousness, as it pertains to everything that's godly, good, morally upright. He knows what's right from wrong. So therefore you want to remain righteous and you want to do the words of the Lord. And let me get it actually. Since we're on it, Yahweh Shai spoke about it. This is Matthew chapter 4 and verse 4. Let me start at verse 3. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the son of Yahweh, command that these stones be made bread. And we understand in this context that Yahweh Shai was fasting for about 40 days and 40 nights. That's a serious fast, man. Verse 4, but he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahweh. So by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of our God, we have to look into it and we have to obey everything that's written in that book. Why? Because it's written. It's not up for debate whether or not we like what's written in the book. If you don't like what's written in YAHAWAH Shimei Shai's book, I mean, woe unto you. That's my style. That's where I'm at. Woe unto you. You don't like it? Well, too bad. That's the words of the Lord. Again, Matthew chapter 4 and verse 4. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word. And what did the scripture say in Psalms chapter 12, verse 6? The words of the Lord are pure. It's 7 times more in the furnace, so to speak, than silver itself. That's how clean, that's how pure, that's how elegant the words of YAHAWAH Shimei Shai are. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahweh. And shalom to Yawanathan Bakar, YAHAWAH Shimei Shai, Barakatah, brother. Shalom, man. And that's actually in the law. Let's get it. Let me see if I can find it, though. It's in Deuteronomy. Let me see if I can find it. I got it. This is Deuteronomy chapter 8. This is actually highly spiritual that Yahweh Shai said that. Because let me start at verse 1, and I'm going to read all the way to verse 3. All the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply, and go in and possess the land which Yahweh sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which Yahweh thy power led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. And Yahweh Shai was in the wilderness. He was in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. We were in the wilderness for 40 years. That's heavy, man. Because Yahweh Shimei Shai wanted to see what kind of spirit our people had. And guess what? A large chunk of our people got put to death because they were faithless. They doubted the Lord. They wanted to go back into Egypt. They wanted to look at the things of the heathen and look to them as if they have all the answers to everything that we have ever asked, which they don't. They don't have any answers to all of our questions. They're heathens. They are who they are. But if you're an Israelite, you are who you are. This is the point. And he humbled thee, and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread only. Here's the point. But by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh doth man live. So you gotta, what does that mean? You have to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh. That's what it comes down to. Because that's what's gonna bring back the liveliness, the rejuvenation to you and your people. And who's our people? The Israelites. If we keep the commandments, we live. If we don't, we are literally putting ourselves in a predicament for death. And the Lord had made that plainly clear to our people. And he used Moses to be that mediator in the wilderness. Let me get it, actually. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 19. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. So if you choose life, which is to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of your God, Yahweh, you're gonna live. That's plain. We don't have to go too deep into it like these other knucklehead ass Christians want to do. You're like, what does that actually mean? No, thus saith the Lord. What else do you have to say, man? Really? Because a lot of people like to play stupid tricks when it comes to the word of Yahweh Shimei Shai. Verse 20, that thou mayest love Yahweh thy power, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him, for he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which Yahawah swore unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. And the only way this can happen is if you observe the words of Yahawah. That's what brings us back to our people. If you're doing anything that's contrary to that, all you're doing is putting yourself in the ways of death. Let me get that real quick. That's all what righteousness comes down to, the words of Yahawah. And this is in the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 34. Righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. And we know that the law is also generalized. There's certain laws that apply to everybody. But generally speaking, those who keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, the words of the Lord, you're exalting your own nation. Everybody else that's contrary to that, you're making your nation fall. You're making your nation weak, and it's going to decay over time. Just look at Babylon the Great. Look how destitute this society has become because they don't actually believe in the words of the Lord. They claim to be this Christian nation, this Judeo-Christian nation, whatever the hell that means. But they're not following the words of the Lord. And the words of the Lord are pure. But we also understand why that is. It's because our wicked, evil twin brother is in rulership. And what he says is the exact opposite of righteousness, the exact opposite of what's good. Let me get that, actually. And what's good? Let me get it. Romans chapter 7, verse 12. Wherefore the law is holy, and we know the word holy means to be separate, and the commandment holy and just and good. So all the laws, statutes, and commandments that were given unto us, the Israelites, it's for our good. It's for our betterment. Anything outside of that, it's just not going to do you any justice. You're only putting yourself in a position where the Lord is going to judge you for not understanding that. Let me get this, actually, since we're on it. John 6 and 63. It is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. And that's what our people have not understood for all this time. This is why we're in Babylon the Great. This is why we have been spread out all across the four corners of the earth with no understanding as to who we are and who our God is. Luckily, the elect, whomever they are, they know YAHAWAH. But the rest of our people, they're blind and they don't care about the words of the Lord. They're so focused on the traditions of men. And the traditions of men are just vain and just, they're not for the good of the Israelites at all. Because that's what, just look at the Pharisees. They understood that don't do what I do, but follow the laws that I have shown you, and then you follow those, but don't follow what I do. The Pharisees understood that because some of them were wicked. That's understandable. Let me get this. In Mark chapter 7 and verse 6, he answered and said unto them, well hath Isaiah prophesied of you hypocrites, as it is written, this people honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Exactly. And that's our people in a nutshell. And shalom to Malak La'ab, YAHAWAH Shem Yahushai, Barakatah, brother. Shalom, man. That's what our people actually believe in, the commandments of men. When you look at the Catholic Church, the Christian Church, especially the Catholic Church, they believe in the seven sacraments. Where's that in the scriptures? For example, the Eucharist. They want you, if you're a so-called Catholic, to follow the Eucharist, which is their sacrament. It's like this holy way of living for Catholics, and they're saying you're drinking the blood of Yahawah Shai. You're eating the bread also of his body. But that sounds more like paganistic, if anything. Like, where in the scriptures does it talk about to do that? But I digress. But a lot of you so-called blacks and Hispanics think this is the way. This is the way. This is righteous, when it's really not. And that's the commandments of men. That was created by men. Where did the Lord say to do that within the first 5 books? I'm waiting for an answer from a Christian. I just want to know. Where is thus saith the Lord in the scriptures that says to do that? You're not going to find it. So therefore, you're in error, and the Lord is justified in killing a lot of you Christians, which is going to happen because about over 1 billion of you people are going to get put to death because the Lord wants that, because y'all serve other gods. Even though y'all act like y'all serving him, you don't even know his name. You don't even know his son's name. Let me get that, actually. I'm going to close it out right there through the Spirit. Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 4. Who hath ascended up into heaven, or descended? Who hath gathered the wind in his fists? Who hath bound the waters in a garment? Who hath established all the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? If you don't know the name of the Father, you don't know the only begotten Son's name, you are a lost cause. You don't know anything about the words of YAHAWAH Shem Yahushai. So therefore, the missiles are going to come upon y'all, especially if you're not in truth and in sincerity. It's going to come upon all of y'all that are hypocrites, that don't care about the law, statutes, and commandments, that don't care about YAHAWAH. Hey, there's going to be a missile with your name on it if you don't repent. Thus saith the Lord. Thus saith the Lord. So I'm going to end it right there through the Spirit and say, Kol Halayim, Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahawashi. And say it again. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.